BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. So welcome to 50 Minutes of Experience, and today I'm with Karen ROHEE. So welcome, Karen.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
So it's nice to have you here and to talk with you today. And can you introduce a bit yourself? Where are you from? What do you do? And yeah, tell something about you.
Okay, so well, my name is Karen. I was born in France. I'm actually living in Marseille, south of France. I am 28. Sorry, I was about to get myself older, but I'm still 28, so I have to take advantage of the few months that I have. And I have a master's degree of history of art and tourism. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I used to be a travel agent, but then COVID thing happened. It's quite complicated for everybody, but yeah, so here I am, still there enjoying photography.
Perfect. So you are based in Marseille, right?
Yes.
And yeah, watching your Instagram account right now, I'm seeing that there are many tags to say who you are, what you do. So you're a photographer, experimental photographer, and we can say use many type of chemical photography to discover your way to communicate. Let's say like that.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know when did you start to taking pictures and why? I mean, I'm more interested why.
Okay.
Than when.
Well, I'm gonna start from really the beginning. I started photography, not film photography, but photography back in 2013. I got myself my first DSLR camera, and photography had always been part of my life because my father used to love photography. So since I'm a kid, I've been used to see different types of film here and there, but it's only in 2013 that I got my first digital camera. And then, well, I took pictures, but you know, it's a big camera. I wasn't feeling very much comfortable to take pictures outside, mostly of people. And so there were periods where I would take pictures, but then I would stop. And it continued like that for quite a while. And then I even changed camera, but I still felt the same. It's only in 2018 that I was curious to try film photography. Because, to be honest, photography had always been something that I love, and I was feeling not very happy to love that art, but not doing it. So I tried film photography, and then I also admire a lot of photographers that are actually either they started with film, either they only had film. And so that's the reason why I started. And then since 2018, I completely stopped taking pictures with a digital camera. I was completely in love with the process of film photography. I actually started to develop myself at home pretty fast. After my second film, I bought chemicals and I tried to develop at home. What I love about photography, but I would say film photography, but it's a spectrum. Film photography allowed me to enter in a world that I never imagined would be so big, and I also started to experiment while developing color, black and white, experimenting with the process, and also discovering alternative photography. And so now I think that I cannot imagine myself stopping film photography, and I love everything about it. Not only taking pictures, but also feeling the matters, feeling everything, feeling the picture. The cameras are also very beautiful objects themselves. So it's hard for me to say why I love it. I just fell in love for every reason that I told you. Of course, it's not always easy. There are moments that you fail, and it's hard to fail, and it's hard to lose images, for example, but it's like that.
Yeah, it's I was just curious, more the why you think that. I mean, it's not can be everything the answer. This is the point.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you are shooting a lot of pictures. So then I was curious to ask you if for you it's more important to take picture or to develop the picture, and where you spend more time, and so on. But yeah, I want to change completely the topic of the question, and I want to ask to you, what there is something you think is missed in the action of doing photography?
Well, I'm gonna combine your both questions and reply to and give you just one answer. Basically, I would never compare, for example, taking pictures with a digital camera and film photography. It's completely different. They're both actually. It depends of everybody. Some people would rather spend a lot of money on a very expensive camera, but then you have everything. You can do everything. You can shoot color black and white, and you can uh, have some SD card, and it's done. For film photography, it's not necessarily the material that costs a lot. It's more the long run, because I would never feel myself complete as a photographer if I'm not also developing and scanning. This is my own point of view. If I stop developing, I wouldn't feel complete. But of course, this is my own experience, and this is who I am. And I spend a lot of time experimenting, mainly experimenting with film, trying different techniques. And I think that there is nothing more pleasant to discover your own images. Well, when you're doing the development yourself, it's a feeling that I wish everyone can at least once in their life try, really.
Yeah, I advise too. I'm agree with you. I did for many years, and was not expensive at all, I have to say. Sometimes we think it's expensive, but it's not. I mean, depends what you want to do, for sure. If you the daguerreotype picture,
Yeah.
it costs a bit differently. But yeah, I mean, if you have everything depends in base of the chemical you have. We start from that. And even, yeah, for example, if you want to do it cyanotype, it's not really expensive. We can say you can do it at home, and yeah, you can tell me, And I was watching your picture. I don't know if I have to say your portfolio. And in any case, I have seen that you have Japanese origin. And I was asking to myself, because I know a lot of photographers from Japan that they are developing, and they are really experimental. I don't know. I want to say, for example, Daisuke Yokota. That someone really inspired me. He do it a lot of different experimental photography, and watching your picture, I was asking to myself, okay, you do it a lot of experimentation, but in a way, I feel like that you are following a line. It's an invisible line, probably, structured in your mind, that continue to push up on the same on same kind of frame. It seems like that you have an image in your mind that you are trying to capture and to developing, and it's always there. I mean, even if the months pass, the picture is, and it's something I have seen watching your profile, and in a way it's really interesting from my part. In another way, I think like, okay, what does it mean that? Why you are seeing always that? And I don't know if you ever saw that or if you ever think about that. If someone told you before.
No, actually, it's very interesting because I will tell you honestly what's going on with my mind is like, I think I'm a very curious person, and it's what you can see in my profile on Instagram, for example. I love to try different things. Of course, I started to take pictures outside, street photography, portrait, whatever. But then it's like when you're putting your finger in a gear and then you start to experiment more and more and more. It depends. Sometimes I have an idea, I want to do this, and then I will go ahead and do everything to create that image that I have. But I never saw my whole work as having that line that you described. It's very interesting. And I think that the only line that I see from my own point of view is that it's about everything. It's well, it's not random, but you will one day I'm gonna do cyanotype, the other day I'm gonna do an EBS technique, and then the next day I'm gonna do film soup. So it's really about how I feel in the moment and what I want to do, what I try to express and experiment. There are moments that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put aside the experimentation. I just want to go outside, take landscape, and I would like to try this film or this camera, and it really depends of the period, the mood, and how I feel. That's how I build my work. But the only really leading line that I see is that it's about everything. My style is not to have a style, I think, or have that leading line of experimenting everything. But it's interesting what you said because, well, I think that no one told me that, so it's always very good to have a different kind of feedback.
Yeah, there are some elements inside of your picture are always constantly in your vision. So I scrolled your profile until the end, so until the beginning, and there are subjects like architecture, nature, and landscape always. I mean, yeah, it's something. It's remarked inside of your vision, and yeah, it's something. Totally unconsciously, we can say, and same way also personal, because it's representing you, and there are a few the moment where you are more close a subject. Now it's not important if it's a subject is a human or material, but I see that you are really close to the nature and animal, and to yourself, because you portray yourself. For example, there are picture of stones, for example, where you are really much more closed, and I think it's totally that in a way or another, unconsciously you portray yourself through these stones.
No, but you're right. I completely agree that I don't think I'm very a photographer that I like, how can I say that? I like portrait, but this is not necessarily what I'm gonna be doing most of the time. And like you said, I'm more for me nature is something very important. I don't know. It's something that I want to represent also with my photography, the beauty of the nature, the beauty of our environment, that sometimes we have a life that we have and we don't spend maybe the time to look for it, to appreciate it. And to also take advantage and to use the beauty of this earth to also create something. By experimenting film, you can create a completely different type of landscape, or you feel like you're in another planet. Recently, I tried a film. It's one of the most recent work that I've done with infrared film, where I have the chance to live nearby a park. Maybe that's why I like to shoot a lot of nature. It helps to have the park nearby. But I like to use what we have around and to make it a little bit different. That's why the infrared film was very fun, to be honest, to experiment. And I enjoyed a lot this series, for example.
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm in love with just. I would say, I found one picture that is touched me more than everyone, and it's the one that you do it the soup with vinegar, and there are these shades, red and this blue. How we want to say line?
Line and the thunder.
Vein is better to say vein.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like a lot. This touched me more than every other picture you did, and in a way, I feel like it's an accidental work, but to be post on your Instagram means that in a way touched you also, and yeah, I think it's a really great, and I would love to see more.
Thank you so much.
Because I think they are. In a way, yeah, they are going out from photography, and this is the nice part of experimental, that when you can cut off the photography in a way and go inside of the process of chemical, discovering much more. So there is not only photography, there is much more than photography.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's I think the right word is meta photography in this case. For the chemical process with the soap, especially with the soap. And in base of that, I want to ask you, which is your favorite soap? I mean, the soap to eat, not for the film.
The soup
you can
for
eat.
the film, yeah.
Not for the film. The one you like to eat.
The one I like to eat? Ooh. I like. Oh, it's difficult. I like onion soup. I like tomato soup. These kind of things. I like it. It's not complicated, but I like it a lot.
So I want to give you a challenge about that. Let's try to make soup of film with your favorite soup to eat, shooting the soup. I mean, this is really controversial.
Wow.
Shooting the soup that you eat.
Okay.
And make an extra soup for film put inside.
So I have to take a picture of the soup with my film that is soup with the soup.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it. Let's see. Okay. I will take the challenge.
I think it's in a way, like trying to give to the film what you like to eat.
It's gonna be happy, yeah. It's gonna be like a Tamagotchi, I'm gonna be feeding the film with the thing that I eat. So let's see that. No, but I accept the challenge. It's gonna be fun.
And so you said you are historical of art. What do you think about history of art?
Well, my studies, I have a background of history of art, where indeed I studied a lot of architecture, obviously. Architecture, painting. Painting and drawing, it's something that I also like to do, but photography is taking me a lot of time, and unfortunately 24 hours a day is not enough. But I chose film photography because this is the medium that I feel more comfortable with. But yeah, I guess that history of art, studying Gothic or Roman architecture, having this in my background also helped me in a way, I suppose, to have my eye catching some details, or I wouldn't say that my eye is completely trained, but it's something that I would notice and I would appreciate the beauty of architecture, and that's why it's something that maybe it's what I have the chance to live where I'm living now. I'm next to called Le Corbusier. It's a very famous building here, and I like this place because I think that the architecture is wonderful. But I can also love to take pictures of churches, etc. I guess that the beauty of art, I don't know, transcend me really. I'm thinking the first question that I'm thinking when I see something that touched me is like, wow, how they could have done that by the time. And it's transcending me because you feel so small and that you are just like time stopped, really. And I love to take the time to admire, because nowadays it's like we don't have time, so we don't have time to appreciate nothing. But when I see places like that, it can be landscape, it can be also a painting, it can be Notre Dame, for example, in Paris. I'm like, it's majestuous, it's wonderful, and it's really that feeling of transcending me, where I feel like I'm disconnected with everything around me.
So I want to give you a last question, but I think it's difficult in a way.
Okay.
But you repeated many times the word beauty, and I think it is something I will introduce in every podcast I do it. That what means for you beauty?
Beauty is a feeling, an emotion. It's very proper to everybody. What I'm gonna find beautiful, maybe you're not gonna like it. It's like that. For me, beautiful, it's something that I feel like it's gonna be weird to say, but something that touched my soul and I feel it. It's something that I feel, that an emotion. I have shivers. I feel like nothing around me matters, and it's not necessarily the object itself, it's how it makes me feel. That for me this is beautiful, and for me it's a feeling, shivers, like nothing else around me exists, and that I could stay there and look at it and not even seeing the time passing, and it's not even something that I necessarily see. I find beauty in some. I will give you an example. There is a scent, a smell that is very particular. It's only when I was a few years ago, I went to a forest and you had that smell of pine trees, but it's something that I cannot catch, I cannot see. It can also be something that I smell. And one last thing is that I had the chance to live in French Guyana. It's in South America, next to Brazil. I lived there for a few years, and there are islands. I went to these islands when I was a kid, and for the first time in my life, I saw the Milky Way, like I never saw. And here again, it's not a painting, it's nothing, it's just the Milky Way, and it's wonderful. And this is also something that transcended me. It can be many things, it's just how it makes me feel.
Good. Really interesting. Really interesting. I mean, I was starting to think that for sure, when we have to describe what is our beauty, and come up a lot of different metaphors and stories we can say, and I think it's really unlimited what is behind one word in this case, and in this case also about photography. Photography is just, we can say, the tool connect us with something. And now if we do it, I mean, also if we do it digital, for example, I discovered there are ways to make material the digital and work as an analog, and also a really interesting technique there, but not is not really mainstream to find out that stuff now. But yeah, for sure you will discover that because I see that you're discovering different types of photography.
Yes.
So どうもありがとう。
こちらこそありがとうございます。
And if anyone want to see the work of Karen, we'll follow the link in the description. If you want to join in this conversation with your comment, your point of view, your definition of beauty, or your soup to eat for the film, will be nice. And you will find the last link in the description to send a voice message. And that's all for today. And
thank you so much for the invitation, really.
And see you soon. I hope in the future we will talk about the tomato soup or the onion soup. It's really interesting, I think.
Be sure I will do it.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Learn more about our project at allmylinks.com/Berlin Explorer, or visit our Instagram and follow Berlin Explorer Project.